For this project, I worked with my partner Christian as my client. He owns the problem we were exploring, which is, how can I practice setting boundaries that protect my energy in personal and professional settings? We used AI to add 3 members to our focus group. Christian chose Gandalf and Dumbledore. Gandalf represented wisdom and responsibility, while Dumbledore added compassion and balance. Malcolm Gladwell is one of my personal favorite authors, and I liked the ideas he had for my brainwriting exercise, so I decided to include him in this practice as well. Before recording, Christian and I completed the divergent exercises, which were Scamper and forced object associations. We started our tool practice with Scamper, which stands for substitute, combine, adapt, modify, put to another use, eliminate, and reverse. I read each question aloud and encouraged Christian to go for quantity, suspend judgment, and consider unusual or unexpected ideas in accordance with the divergent thinking guidelines. After Scamper, we explored forced object connections, which turned out to be Christian's favorite tool. In this exercise, we connected the challenge to unrelated objects. In our case, a TV, computer, lamp, plant, pen, and fan, in order to spark fresh insights. It made sense that this tool was Christian's favorite because he tends to prefer divergent activities that invite contemplation and creativity. Once we had plenty of ideas from our divergent tools, we moved into the convergent sections, which are the exercises you see us working on in the video. When using convergent tools, I reminded him that we are looking for ideas that seem shiny or worth further consideration. I decided to exclude AI from the convergent tools, and I tried not to chime in much myself because I felt that as the owner of the problem, it was up to Christian to decide which ideas he wants to move forward with. The first convergent tool we used was targeting. We looked at each cluster in the divergent sections and decided where they should be placed in relation to the bullseye. We ended up having a few ideas land on the bullseye, which in our case meant that they were highly plausible solutions. After moving all of the hits or interesting ideas onto the target, I had Christian choose 5 ideas that we would take into the next exercise, which in our case was the evaluation matrix. I instructed him to choose ideas he felt had potential or that he wanted to examine more closely. Prior to the exercise, I had Christian generate a set of evaluation criteria that could be used to grade ideas using a letter system. We landed on time efficiency, feasibility, and also took into account the impact on Christian, his loved ones, and his career as a nurse. Using these criteria, we were able to measure the strength of each idea in a clear way. I highlighted all the F grades, and we noticed that time efficiency was a main concern with several of the issues. This led us the challenge question: how to make the boundary setting strategy more time efficient? We plan to revisit this challenge statement later as a bridge into the implementation phase. Evaluation ended up being my personal favorite tool. It is essentially another method of asking, "What's stopping me?" which was one of my favorite exercises we worked on in class. I'm glad we chose to use Mural for this project. It allowed us to work together in the same digital space when our schedules permitted, while allowing us to complete some portions asynchronously. That flexibility made the process easier and more organic. While Christian was in class, I added my own ideas and generated additional input from AI. We were able to work together to converge and evaluate those ideas at a later time. Looking back, I think the tools worked well. If I were to do this project again, I'd have Christian write his ideas after the AI and I had contributed, so he'd have more material to build from. I could also see the benefit of doing a clustering activity after the targeting step to help group and restate ideas before moving on. Ultimately, the exercise was a great reminder of the versatility of creative problem-solving tools and how they can take a problem and turn it into a plan for action. Christian and I tend to favor different steps in the process, but we rounded each other out surprisingly well. I'm looking forward to using these tools again in real focus groups someday, though I have to admit, the wizards were pretty fun.